You know, so the life insurance is a huge thing, like you said, that wealthy people utilize because you legit don't even end up paying into it the amount that you end up getting. So there's like a cash value associated with it also, in most cases. And
I don't think a lot of people understand that part.
That's
that there
thing.
is a cash value associated to the life insurance policies.
Yeah, because you're getting a lump sum of money now because this person has passed away. You might be getting 50,000, 100,000, and you might have only paid in 60,000. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those things. It protects you. It protects your family. It helps with the ease when somebody passes away, and it's not that expensive to get set up.
Like give us roughly like some numbers. Like you can pay this amount, and your life insurance policy is this amount at the end.
So we have a setup, we're paying $70 and it's set up for $50,000 of life insurance, but that's also a college plan. So he gets that if I die, but if I don't die, by the time he turns 18, he will get that money regardless. And he can do whatever he wants to do with it. He doesn't have to go to college. So there are so many programs that are, or systems that are in line for us to really benefit and maximize on, because that's a powerful duo to have something in case, but then also at a certain age he will still get it, you know. And so we have that in line, and then you can also just get a regular life insurance plan where I remember paying like $15 and it was like $100,000 that you would get if I died, you know, and I just put it in my mom's name. I was 18 years old with my first job, you know what I mean? I started when I was 16, but that's when I signed up for my first life insurance at 18 because somebody explained to me the benefit of it. They were like, if you died, your parents, they're not even in a position
to pay for a casket or whatever.
Anything.
I'm like, that stuff is expensive. It's very,
super
you know,
expensive.
when a lot of people in Gavin's family were passing away, and I was like, oh my God, this is a lot of money. But that's when Tia started to tell us more about it. She's like, look, you have to have a life insurance policy in place, and like you said, it's the why. It's not the fact like. But it was so interesting because when she brought it up, I'm like, oh, I don't want to talk about this. I'm like, but that was just really a level of ignorance, because just not knowing enough information, you know? So, yeah, I think that's something that our culture needs to talk about a little bit more. Self-care tip of the day, using a serum before using your moisturizer. Serums help with minimizing the look of fine lines and wrinkles. Derma-E is one of my go-to serums these days for brightening my skin and supporting collagen health. So, do you have any money-saving apps that you recommend to people?
Qapital. Qapital is my favorite app because it's so simple. It's so like automated, and you forget about it because it is an app. Because I've tried, you know, saving with a different bank account, and that's really helpful. But I know I've had other people in my life who that doesn't work for because they still know it's there. With the app, you just really forget it.
Yeah, but see, that's the one where you can like set goals,
right? You can set the goals.
So it makes it kind of fun.
Yeah, so it'll have like a roundup setup, and you can have it rounding up every dollar, and all that money will just go towards this savings goal. Or you can have like a percentage every week, or you know, there's like 2 or 3 different setups that you can do, and they're cool, they're fun. It makes it, you know, feel good. You set up a whole little like, why are you saving this? You know, I put land ownership, so I was like, it feels good just to have something that's going towards this specific.
This is my land
ownership.
Is right.
So Qapital is my favorite. I feel like that one's the
Any
best
other ones that you can think of, or you feel
I
like
Acorns. Acorns is another type, but that's more investment based, like for stocks. But they just kind of handle it all for you. But you can set it up so it has the same setups where you can round up every dollar that you spend on your card. It'll go towards, you know, the investment portfolio. And then if you make any money, it'll just all add up into that same Acorns application. And you can transfer it all if you want to, just like Qapital. But you just let it sit there and let it build, and it's just working off of you swiping your card because it's connected to your debit card.
Let's talk about investments, because you just said that word, and I feel like I'm positioning myself now to where next year I can start investing, and I want to start buying property and all that stuff. We'll talk about that later, girl.
Okay.
But let's talk about the importance of ownership. You know, and I also think it's becoming an even bigger conversation because of, you know, Nipsey Hussle's passing, and then obviously he spoke about that a lot, and a lot more people are talking about it. So let's talk about the importance of it.
Yeah, I mean,
and stocks as well. You can mix those two together.
you spoke about it. I mean, generational wealth is the concept.
Yeah.
I think that's something that's hitting all of us in our generation pretty heavily, again, because of the influences. But also, I think just an overall shift is coming about, and it's
For sure.
becoming super potent. Like,
Yeah.
what are we doing? Like,
Yeah.
what are we spending our money on,
Yep.
and why?
Yep.
You know, I think one of the biggest things for me was that helped me tap into it was, how am I supporting my people? How am I supporting, you know, my friends and family who are entrepreneurs, who are self-employed?
Yep, yep.
That to me is like the first level of investment, because you're gonna spend money. You're gonna buy clothes. You know what I mean? You're gonna buy accessories. So buy from people that you know, so you are investing in these people.
And I think that kind of goes into circulating that black dollar too.
Absolutely.
There was a statistic that I read, and it was saying that Asian people, I think they circulate their dollar like 20 times or something like that, and in the black community it goes around just one time.
Yeah.
I'm like, that is so crazy. But
Unreal.
anyways, finish what you're saying.
No.
But it's a trip.
That's
yeah.
real. So I feel like that's the first level. When you start to think of investing, I think you need to go there first.
Yeah.
So then beyond that, I'm really into property investment. I'm really into owning land.
Yeah,
Those are the
for
things
sure.
that I'm more geared towards, more so than stocks and bonds, because that's just a whole nother realm. Like,
Yeah.
you go to a whole nother person and not me for
Yeah,
that, you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
But I do want people to be able to come to me for understanding how to invest in property and land.
Yeah.
And I just feel like it's super important, because you're leaving something behind,
Yeah.
you know? And if you plan to have children and you want to have this legacy, it is beyond just having a well-running business.
Yeah.
It is about having things that are that you can build foundations on. Like,
Yeah.
your children can build houses and housing and visions and
Apartment
ideas
complexes.
on,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
even just their ideas. Like,
Yeah.
I want to have a commune. Like, if Soul wants to have something like a creative wellness center, he'll have a piece of land to do it on. You know what I mean? So that's why it's super important, because it just profounds your legacy beyond just having a business that's bringing in a lot of revenue.
Absolutely.
You now have your money invested in something that is unbreakable, untouchable. It is yours.
Yeah.
And then property is just important, because you then get into this realm of like rental income, and that's money that's like passive. You don't have to do much.
Yeah.
You can hire somebody. I used to do property management. You know what I mean? Like, you can hire people to manage your properties, and you just making sure you're making the right investments so that you are getting a rental income that exceeds what you're paying out. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly.
It's kind of structured, it's template based. It either works or it doesn't. So that's a really powerful investment tool, also, is property.
So
Property.
speaking of the kids, I don't know if you do already, because Sol is so young, but how do you, or are you going to teach him about money? Like, the idea behind money. And I was listening to a podcast, and it was saying, we put so much stress, we put our own baggage and our own shit on top of money, when really it's a very free-flowing energy. And I was like, ooh, that's so deep, you know? So how are you gonna teach him to kind of keep the, I don't know if it's like the purity and like the essence of that. This thing is here to help you.
Yeah.
It's not here to like stress you out, you know?
Yeah. I think one of the bigger concepts for me that I will instill, and I think he'll just automatically pick up on, is just the overall non-worry of money. It's just something that was innate in me, and I feel and understand now. Even driving here, I was thinking about it, like, that's been such a powerful characteristic within me on this journey.
Yeah.
Going from like having nothing to having a little, to then having a little something, and now you're like, okay, I'm getting it. But I feel like that's the biggest thing, is, first of all, we don't worry about money.
Yeah.
There's nothing to worry about. You know what I mean? Then beyond that, this is what we use money for. These are the things that we use our money for.
Yeah.
You know, and then beyond that.
This is why we work.
This is why we work.
Yeah,
this is why
we
mama
get it.
goes to work. This is why mama's on the laptop doing this, asking you to please leave me alone while I finish doing
Right.
this. You know?
We gotta get this money,
And I feel like that's how he's gonna understand, because of day-to-day things like that. Like, no, because I have to set these boundaries working from home with my child, you know?
Absolutely.
I feel like that's gonna help him understand. Like, mama's doing that because da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
And it's gonna revert back to the money concept, or the money culture, I should say. And so beyond that, I want him to understand, you know, the power in money when in his hands. So I want him to understand how to work for money. He's gonna learn that as soon as he can start cleaning up some stuff. And he's already starting to clean up stuff, but he doesn't understand money yet.
Yeah.
So that'll come in when it makes sense at
Yeah.
the age appropriate, you know, time. But, you know, having chores and things of that nature, I feel are great concepts to help
Absolutely.
them understand
Absolutely,
money.
yeah.
Like you earned something because you did something. Now you can go and do this with your money.
That flow of energy.
Full circle.
Just keeps going.
Full circle.
So another thing that I admire so much about you is I love your work-life balance. I think you are so good at that, and I think more people. I think more people. You do it better than the average person. And I think more people should be able to tap into that. The Dalai Lama has this quote. It says something along the lines of, like, we work so hard for this money, we're, in this rat race, and then later in life we have to use that same money that we were working for to take care of our health. So it's really like a double-edged sword, And I know there's sometimes that, like, I would say, hey, Audrey, can you do this for me? You're like, okay, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I don't work. I carve this out. And you're an entrepreneur. So it's also like, okay, well, how do you not worry about, like, oh, well, I don't know where my next check is coming in? Obviously, time is, built up to where you don't have to worry about that as much. But how is it that a young entrepreneur that's starting out to teach them the importance of work-life balance? And it's okay to not feel like you have to run this rat race, just the fear of FOMO, or like, I don't know when my next check is coming in. How do we just surrender and trust that the money is gonna flow, it's gonna come, So explain to me how you manage work-life balance.
I feel that's a huge question. I think because I planned parenthood, that brought me to a real mental state of like, okay, I'm gonna be encountering this journey that will really embody a discipline beyond business, but within my self-care practices. I knew that because of my style of thinking and feeling like I want to get my whole to-do list done in a day, that was not gonna work, that I had to be more flexible with my time, I had to be more flexible with myself so that I could have the inner peace that I wanted to have working from home. So the work-life balance for me just looks like I have a list that embodies all my to-dos beyond work. It is work, it is for myself, it is for my son, it's for my partner. It really just outlines like these are things that I need to touch on so that I can stay organized and keep my mind organized in the sense that it's not just work, it's not just business all day, So I do set these boundaries. I have days that, Thursdays we focus on just being outside most of the day. We go and do something new, and this is because I do work from home. I have my child. I feel like I wouldn't have peace not incorporating him as being home with me and doing something to stimulate him if I was just working through that.
Right, absolutely.
That to me was defeating the purpose. It was like you wanted to stay home so that you could spend time with your child. So what does that look like, So in the mornings, it's him and I. We get our breakfast, we do our thing before I tap into work and business because I want him to see that very structured difference. Mommy's now going to work, just like if I was gonna leave to work and be there at 9, get off at 5. I kind of have that same structure within me with flexibility because there are times when I'm working on taxes at 2 a.m. because I'm up and now my mind's ready to do it, so I'll just do it, But I give myself that flexibility. I give myself that time to focus on the things that make me happy beyond the success of my business. And I think that's what does bring the success of my businesses because I am not putting so much pressure on just executing all things related to business every day, every minute.
Right.
I take time every single day to do things and to find the gratitude in all the simple things that I do throughout the days, and that brings me peace. That brings me happiness.
Peaceful. Such a peaceful answer.
I'll be trying. I really do.
It's true though. I think it's important.
I feel like having inner peace has been the biggest thing for me. I had to really hone in on what that meant to me, when Soul was like 6 months, because it was like I felt so just.
It's a lot. It's a lot going on. Yeah.
Like everybody was just trying, and I was like, I have to shut everything off. And what does that look like? I can't just jump up and go to yoga right now because I don't have anybody to watch Soul. We're way out here. There's nobody close to us. So there were all these factors that I had to really maneuver to figure out what work-life balance looked like in my life and in my home,
Yeah. As a mother, it's like such a responsibility, obviously, having a child, and then the responsibilities of, I was just saying in the interview before, like the responsibilities that we have as women, we wear so many different hats.
For sure.
And the pressure, so it's so important to organize and compartmentalize where things belong and where is my time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When do I turn this off? I just got into the habit of the nanny gets there at 8 in the morning, and then so she'll have Zen so I can get some work done. But then by the time that I pick up peace, after that, don't talk to me about work. I'm not talking unless it's like a little quick thing. But because it's like this defeats the purpose.
Yeah.
This defeats the purpose that I want to be able to run my own shit. You know, so
and you
I feel
can set those boundaries, like, you know, having these automations and utilizing things that are going to help you just have that peace of mind when you are, you know, so if you have an automation that just automatically goes to your emails and responding to your emails, like, I'll be back in touch tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. You know what I'm saying? Like, give them your time frame, give them your window of which you will be focused on your business, because now it's family time, you know? And even if you put that in your email, that's something I'm learning from you, is just to, like, it's cool. Like, yes, let's incorporate what it looks like to have to think about something related to our child right before an interview, you know? Like, yeah, I was late because I had to work on my child.
Right.
You know what I'm
And Peace is
saying?
throwing up. I'm like, I gotta go, y'all.
Yeah. So these
whole
things
thing.
are real, and they're our reality, and they're important, and they are a part of our entrepreneurship, you know, journey.
I love it. I think money management and having you in my world is definitely a self-care moment for sure.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that is self-care right there.
I call it peace of mind.
Yeah, I'm like, you're not about to exactly. I'm like, you're not about to stress me out with this stuff. So self-care moment, go.
Honestly, driving long distances by myself.
Music on or off?
On high blast.
Okay, like
high
what
blast.
type of music?
I like chill wave music. I like very cultural based instrumental, live instrumentation style music.
Is it a time to kind of like free think?
Yes, I
Just
guess
like let it
that
flow?
I don't even realize I'm thinking until I'm actually thinking.
Yeah, until you're like, whoa, how did I get across California?
For real. I was driving there and I
feeling.
had so many just realizations, and I was like, yo, this is crazy. It's like a real just trip that's happening just from driving and just not thinking about anything intentionally, you know?
I love it, Audrey. I love you.
I love
and
you too.
Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for helping me so much in my life and being a voice of women and tell them that we know how to manage money.
We know.
Okay. We know. I love you. Thank you guys for tuning in again, and I hope that you learned a lot of money management tools from Audrey. We will see you guys next time.
Hey.